When you guys were working on the Crystal World, or even more broadly, how much post-production is going on? Like, are you recording pieces, their pieces done in real time, or are you stitching things together? Or
There was some multi-tracking going on that record, but there's also like Pathogens was totally just one and done. Yeah, a lot. I mean, that's what we would do. We would essentially like most recordings we did. We just show up at a radio station and be like, "All right, we're gonna what do we got? You got 20 minutes? We can make noise for 20 minutes." That was essentially like how we did it. And then I think Crystal World started to give us like, okay, we gotta like structure this a little bit more. And I think really around the clearing is really where we wrote like, oh, it's gonna go and do this and go and do that. And I think that was maybe more deliberate
gotcha.
and more overdubs, like way more overdubs. Like, all right, well, we're gonna do this acoustic guitar, then we're gonna add this electric guitar, then we're gonna add the mode. And it was like more of that, like, hey, we're in the studio, we should use it rather than like mic everything live and do it in one take. Like I think, or do all the instruments in one take and vocals would be separate, kind of thing. Which we did do on the Crystal World a little bit. There's some live vocals on some of it, but for the most part, that was kind of that big transition. Like I think the year before was our first time in the studio. Like we did the Plague Journal 7-inch for Bloodlust, and that was like with Jeremy Lemos was the producer on that one, and it was the first time we were ever in the studio like together. The band before we started Locrian called Unlucky Atlas with my wife Erica, like we would record that in the studio, but it's the first time Locrian. I mean, I don't know, it was very casual when we started Locrian, and then it got more serious kind of like 4 years in, like.
And is that just because you found you kept doing it, and it was like, okay, apparently this is a thing?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it really was like we kept doing it, and I don't know, it was like my biggest goal was that we'd get mentioned in the Aquarius records, like that Andy would like write it up, and like in the weekly Aquarius, and then he did, and it was like, oh crap, like that goal got accomplished. And it was cool because it was like people from France are writing you and Japan, and the world of weird music was really small in some ways at that time, I think. And if you're doing something weird in that sphere, you kind of could get noticed. I think now, ironically, it's way harder. It's just not as focused for like a newer band to start now. I think it's really challenging. But I think at that time, you had these big advocates who had a lot of respect.